2026 meeting of the Palm Trans Service Board. It is 1:33 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. May I have the roll call, please?
Madam Chair, Deborah Posey Blocker, Director of Customer Service, Government and Public Relations. I would commence with the roll call. Seat number 1, Frank Stanzione, Representative with Transportation Experience. Seat number 2, Carrie Ron, Disability Advocate. Seat number 3, Selvin Selvendren, Environmental Advocate. Seat number 4, Councilwoman Shamba Miller Anderson, Municipal Representative Official. Seat number 5. Seat number 5, Jim Gibbs, Business Community Representative. Seat number 6, Dante Mickens, Representative with Multicultural Experience.
Here.
Seat number 7, Carolyn Hamar, Senior Citizen Representative.
Here.
Seat number 8, Takesha Sadfor, Certified Paratransit User.
Present.
Number 10. 11. Seat number 11, Tricia Hollison-Mishner, Citizen at Large.
Present.
Seat number 13, Leandre Campbell.
Present.
Thank you. Seat number 14, Manny Riviera, Citizen at Large. Seat number 10, Joey Acevedo, Vice Chair, Fixed Route Bus Operator.
Present.
Seat number 9, Carmencita Mitchell, Chair, Regular Fixed Operator Bus Rider.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Posey Blocker.
Madam Chair, point of order. We have seat number 3, Selvin Selvendren, Environmental Advocate.
Present.
Good day, sir. Thank you so very much. Okay, we now move to item number 2. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda for February 26, 2026? Motion by Mr. Stanzione. Do I have a second?
Takesha.
Second by Ms. Saffold. All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing none opposed, motion passes. May I now have a motion to approve the minutes on the December 11, 2025 meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Ms. Saffold. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Acevedo. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, thank you. Motion passes. We now move swiftly to item number 4, the safety message with Mr. Charles Hull.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Palm Trans safety message for February is eliminating hard braking. Hard braking is often the result of inadequate following distance or delayed reaction. Ways to eliminate hard braking: anticipate stops early. Large buses require up to 2 football fields to stop safely. Begin braking sooner than you would in a smaller vehicle to ensure a smooth transition. Maintain following distance. Keep a significant gap between your bus and the vehicle ahead to avoid the need for a sudden aggressive braking. Smooth stop technique. Just before coming to a complete halt, slightly reduce pressure on the brake pedal to prevent a final jerk that can cause falls. The mission is to provide access to opportunities for everyone safely, efficiently, and courteously. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any comments about safety? We should do that. Have safety. Thank you so much. We move now to item number 5, PTSD Chair comments from Carmencita Mitchell, who loves to speak about herself in the third person. Welcome back, everyone. It is fabulous to see you all. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season. It seems as though just yesterday it was Christmas and Passover, Kwanzaa, my birthday, and all these things. And here we are right in the backyard of Easter, Passover. We're in the middle of Ramadan. So it's moving fast, and the buses are moving fast with it, with these times. But again, it's wonderful to see you all here. We had a very long meeting on December 11th. So as you can see, I'm trying to move this one along quickly. To that end, I would ask the board members if during the reports, if you could hold your comments until the completion of said reports, but also that we be a little brief today because it's a very long agenda of several reports, having missed a meeting in January. Members of the public, I have cards here. When the time comes, I would ask that you make your comments based on the appropriate item. So if it is one of the information items, I will ask if you want to respond to that, or general comments, the general comments section being a little bit later on. Having said that, again, Happy New Year, and it's wonderful to be back here with all of you. We do have a couple dignitaries in the house today. Of course, our beloved Mayor Hamara, husband to First Lady and Board Member Hamara, and our Mayor of Royal Palm Beach. Please give him a hand. And whoever shows up, I always try to acknowledge anyone. So we do have at least one congressional candidate here with us today, Ms. Victoria Doyle and her team. Is there anyone else here that I did not see come in? I mean, you're all beautiful and important and dignitaries in my world. But is there anyone that I've forgotten who is of note? Okay, so wonderful. We greet everyone. Mayor Hamara will speak to us about an issue after we hear from the executive director. Speaking of which, on behalf of the Palm Tran Service Board, the executive leadership team, and all of Palm Tran,
we would like to say,
Joey said that, we would like to say, welcome. Can we say it louder? Very. So, for anyone who's vision impaired or missed that, we wish Feliz Cumpleaños, happy birthday to our executive director, Mr. Ivan Maldonado, who incidentally sang La Bamba, which is where I had my birthday party. So we keeping it Latin up in here, but happy birthday, sir. And to that end, they wouldn't let me have, can I have my, like, part of the cake party now? Like, can we? So there are some snacks. There's some cheese and coffee and crackers. I'm going to continue with the agenda, but if you all can quietly go and pick up your snacks, you know, that'll help you get through the meeting. And I did, you know, kind of ask and promise that we'd have some sort of food in the new year after I kept you 2 hours and 14 minutes in the last meeting. So if you can do it quietly without being disruptive, because I didn't want you to have to wait until the end of the meeting to eat. But again, we wish the most happy birthday, and we're going to try to get through this meeting as a gift to you as quickly and with lack of contention as possible. So happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
Having said that, I'm going to conclude my comments there for now. If I think of anything else that is of note, I will make mention of that. But to keep them moving swiftly, I'm going to move right to our executive director, Mr. Ivan Maldonado, the guest of the hour.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate, obviously, everyone wishing me a happy birthday. I didn't know whether to walk out of here and say, hey. Or no, but I really appreciate it. It was very good. And for those that don't know, the La Bamba song, we were trying to raise funds for United Way. And we were trying to organize a talent show at the time. And I say, I cannot sing, but I still remember the words to La Bamba. And that's how I came up with the song. So as you can tell, I'm not much of a singer, but I really appreciate everyone's welcome today. And thank you for that. We had a great, we met last time, was in December the 10th, I believe, was the last time we met. 11th. And we had a lot of things happen since then. Rather than me speaking a whole lot, we're going to have members of our team, our leadership team, go over the operations, marketing, service and planning, and that sort of thing. So I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking. I will be much quieter than usual. But I wanted to let you know that in preparations for what is happening now at the state legislature with the bills that are out there for property taxes, we have been asked to look to show scenarios of possible cost reductions if something were to impact our property taxes. So we have to present a 5% scenario, a 10% scenario, a 15% scenario, and then a 20% scenario. We had meetings with the Board of County Commissioners who expressed that they had no interest in reducing services to the community. Last meeting that we attended. But just wanted to give you a heads up that if you hear conversations happening with regards to potential service cuts, obviously, anything that can happen at the legislature, if this was to go to a future referendum where voters are going to vote on a further reduction of property taxes, could impact services, but obviously that would happen for next year budget or thereafter. And so right now it's kind of premature to speak as to what will be happening with Palm Tran, but just know that we are trying to do everything we can to stay within budget and to be frugal. And of course, in respect to our taxpayers, we try to do everything we can to be more efficient and effective. And to that, I want to finish with just simply saying that our staff did a fantastic job with the slight changes that we did to the Connection Plus. Our Chief Operation Officer, Mr. John Lockhart, is going to talk more about that, but they did a super job, and our citizens were very understanding, and everyone that we work with, the different health service agencies that we work with, were very supportive, and I think we had a very successful change. It was probably one of the biggest one that we have seen here, and I would have to say it went extremely well. And I'll let John talk about that in a little bit. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your report, sir. Well, we will at some point we will hear from members of the public to determine how slight those changes were.
Correct.
But we certainly appreciate the due diligence. My concern, of course, though, is this percentage cuts that you're speaking about. So in the past, I have, as well as other members of the board upon availability, attended those commission meetings. So I would ask that I be apprised ahead of time and the entire board, because it's particularly important for us to be there to say the things that perhaps you and your team cannot. Over the years prior to your tenure, I've been a part of the Route Performance Maximization, RPM 2.0, the CEC, the TDP, Transit Development Plan. And in these years, Palm Tran has been constantly told to reduce, right? They had to choose ridership or coverage, and then they did it again. And a series of changes were made now to both fixed route and the connection. So my concern is that we can't afford to make any more changes, right? We've taken the bacon off the table, we've taken the eggs, and now they want the bread. So I think it's important for our board to have a presence there so that we can advocate for those who need and use the service, of which at least 1, 2, 3 of us on this dais use the service. And we have many members of the public and even people in your employ who rely upon Palm Tran. So it's really important that we have a presence there. We had a little bit of a disconnect since we didn't have a January meeting, but this is a really important issue. We know that there are at least 3.5, perhaps, commissioners who support, who support the service, but we have to continue to beat that drum. We cannot afford to lose any more money. If anything, we need more. So I would appreciate if we were apprised when Palm Tran is going before the commission.
Certainly, we will do.
Any board members want to add to that on the dais? I'll start to my right. Anybody quickly want to say something?
Nothing. Good. Well spoken. Well stated.
Thank you. Anybody on this side of me?
No.
Mr. Mickens, you look like you had something in your head.
I don't know.
No?
Boss said.
Everybody good? All right. Okay. So thank you so much. Before we move on to Mr. Lockhart's report, I'm going to invite Mayor Hamara to come on up to make his comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. This is the kind of weather we moved here for or got brought up in, whichever applies to you, not the other stuff we had earlier in the week. That was the stuff we left, and it unfortunately followed us down here. Let me just make a general comment, and I'll hold my specific comment, which has to do about bus link until after the bus link update. I think it'll probably make more sense at that point. Let me just remind everybody that we are totally in support of Palm Tran and transit as being a part of the solution. We've talked a number of times about the countywide transportation master plan project, which is underway, and the whole idea is to put together all of the different modes of transportation in the optimum fashion that actually addresses something that hardly ever gets addressed when you talk transportation, and that is land use. It is so critical to have those pieces all fit together in an optimum way. And that's how you get the cost effectiveness that you need to be able to deal with your 3.5 county commissioners. I like that. That was very interesting. By the way, I think you're accurate in your count. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more. And I think there was actually a presentation, an update yesterday for the county commission from the countywide transportation master plan. And I found that I cannot be in more than one place at a time. So I missed that. So I'll go back like everybody else and reach out to YouTube, and you all might want to do that to check on it, and you'll get an update on it. We are about halfway into that contract, which is being run by the county, and there's a lot of work to be done. But I think we're headed in the right direction, and the fact that we're talking county and cities, I pause for emphasis there, is a remarkable accomplishment. And we want to keep that going. So once again, I totally support Palm Tran. I get the difficulty of trying to balance the adequate service with funding and the pressure. And of course, we have our friends in Tallahassee who are adding to the mix with the property tax kinds of reforms they talk about. Actually, the word elimination is really the one that creates the greatest concern. We're all in this together. And so hopefully we'll be able to, I know we'll be able to find a way out of it. So once again, my total support, but I would like to reserve just one more comment after the bus link update. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All righty. We are moving right along to item number 7, the Chief Operations Officer report from Mr. John Lockhart.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Vice Chair and members of the board. It's good to be here again to share the progress of what we've done since our last meeting in November. I'm going to start with Route 44. The frequency increased to an hour as a part of the 2025 September service changes. Ridership has increased by over 60% between September and December of 2025. So that's a great increase in ridership. Route 44 connects the Intermodal Transit Center with most major spots like Palm Beach International Airport, the Kravis Center, and Kaiser University. Palm Tran connection updates. That's everybody wants to hear that. Again, I want to shadow Ivan's sentiments. Thanks to the team, the connection team, our marketing team, the planning team, everybody that contributed to make sure that those service changes and the information that went out to the customers, we tried to flood all the customers with as much notifications and different modes of media as we possibly could. And I think the team did a fantastic job of doing that. The launch of the Connection Plus service took place on January 18th. In preparation for this major implementation, several key projects and outreach efforts were initiated ahead of the start date. We had workshops, website updates, and in-person presentations by the Connection leadership team. Customers within the 3/4 mile service area, including dialysis clients, received targeted notifications about the upcoming changes. And this includes Palm Tran Connection staff going to these dialysis centers and actually talking to those and making sure that everybody understood what the changes. So it wasn't just an email or a phone call to these centers. We actually were physically there, visited everyone, and had that conversation. So they worked real hard on making sure that those changes, although significant, had the least amount of impact. Comprehensive staff training prepared by Palm Tran employees with operational teams were ready to manage any issues during the rollout. One of our operations managers, Amanda Woods, is not here today. She's a little under the weather, but she put together a comprehensive training program and went and spent a week to 10 days over at the connection and made sure that every member of the staff had an opportunity or multiple opportunities to go through her training so everybody fully understood how to communicate these changes to the customers when they call. So it created a great deal of consistency. So they're in minimal confusion between reservationists when they were scheduling trips and speaking to people. It really made that process extremely smooth. So to date, the implementation has been smooth with no major disruptions reported, which really speaks to the success and the hard work that the team put in to make this change a success. Nothing's ever perfect. There's always some minor hiccups, but I think we were able to stay out of the news as much as possible when it comes to a service change like this, because it was significant. All right. The FDOT tour on February 12th, PalmTran hosted the FDOT and provided an update on FDOT funded projects at PalmTran and Palm Beach County. Approximately 18 people attended, including our Director of Maintenance, Daryl Ramkinsoon, PalmTran staff, and the FDOT representatives. PalmTran hosted and provided presentations on the Go Glades, the Port St. Lucie Express, and the BusLink program. The Palm Beach MPO also presented a transit update. After the presentations, attendees toured the Operator's Lounge, maintenance facility, and bus yard. Yes, they were all wearing safety vests. It's a big issue there. So, and also FDOT reviewed the billing status of the current open grants. And that is all I have from me. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
If I may add for clarity, and that is that all connection clients receive targeted notification. It wasn't just, that was just for clarity on that. So, thank you.
Any board members have any quick responses for Mr. Lockhart?
I have one.
Yes, please.
During your FDOT tour, did they have any questions for you or anything? Were they any concerns or questions that as you toured them around and gave them information?
Unfortunately, I had to be somewhere else when they were touring.
Okay.
But my director of maintenance is here today,
Okay.
so he's free to answer if
Wonderful.
they did have any specific questions.
Okay.
No, nothing specific on this.
Okay,
They
so
were pleased with the operation.
perfect. That's good. Thank you.
Good job.
Any other person on this side of the dais?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Allison Mishler. Anyone on this side of the dais? Questions, Mr. Lockhart? Perfect.
Just a comment.
Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Gibbs.
I would had welcomed an invitation as a board member and other board members to participate in such an event such as FDOT and all events.
In the future, we'll make an effort to extend an invite.
Thank you.
Anyone else on this side of the dais? All right, thank you so much. We are now up to item number 8, the report from Chief Deputy County Administrator Todd Bunlaren, who's not here with us. And as you can see that empty chair, get used to it. I'm going to speak on his behalf. I am so sad. For those of you who don't know Mr. Bunlaren, we've all shared an intimate relationship with him for many years. And I'm sure by now most of you know he will be departing his county post as of, I believe, April 1st, I think, something to that effect. We will not be having a March meeting as a result of something going on here, and we don't ever have an April meeting. Therefore, we're not going to ever see him again unless we go to the county chambers and catch him there, or sometimes I'm lucky enough to catch him at an event around town. But I'd just like to offer comments on behalf of this board, and I'll give anyone else an opportunity who would like to do so, that Mr. Bunlaren's service to this county has been unmatched. He will greatly be missed. But of course, you know, he has a young family, 2 beautiful little girls, and his wife, Rachel, which many of you know, and I know from the college. It's going to be a loss for us, you know, and as I said, that empty chair is going to haunt me. You know, it used to be before I couldn't see who was here and I'd be looking at the chair thinking I was talking to Mr. Maldonado or Mr. Bunlaren or Mr. Matumba, and of course now the newer Mr. Lockhart. But now the chair is actually going to be empty. So it is with great sadness that we are going to bid a fond farewell. But I would just like to say that his presence will always be here. You know, I think the things that stick out to me most are the poignant comments that he made upon the death of Mr. Clinton B. Forbes and all of his dancing and singing at the holiday parties. Ice, Ice Baby. So, you know, he's a great singer and a dancer. I mean, where else can you find a county administrator, deputy county administrator, who can dance, who can do hip hop, who can, I mean, this is really something. So one more thing that makes this county the greatest place in the world to live. I would ask the person who works closest with him here, Ms. Posey Blocker, would you like to make any comments about Mr. Von Laren? She tearing up.
Well, honestly, I was going to reserve my comments, but Mr. Bonlar and I had a long working relationship over, oh my gosh, almost 20 years. And I like to say that he is the reason that I am at Palm Tran today. Plucked me out of retirement. Less than 24 hours, I was working for Palm Tran. And it has been a pleasure over the years working with him on the legislative side during my time on Capitol Hill, the U.S. House of Representatives, and meeting with our county board administrators on the federal side, and being able to now walk with them through the halls of Congress and through Tallahassee along with Todd on behalf of Palm Beach County and Palm Tran. So he has definitely been an intricate part of this transportation industry. He has definitely been our #1 champion, and we are so proud of him, but yet so sad that he will be leaving his post. But we know that he will still have his hands somewhere in Palm Beach County during his retirement. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. So again, if I could just ask everybody to, and hopefully he'll hear this transcript, but if not, we just need him to know how special he is to all of us. So if we could give a hand of applause to Mr. Von Laren. Thank you all. I appreciate that. All right, so we move right along to item number 9, our committee reports. We're going to have a planning subcommittee report from Mr. Vice Chair Acevedo.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The Planning Subcommittee met on February the 19th. The meeting was called to order at 2:10 by the chair. Members present, Joey Acevedo, Palm Tran staff, Ivan Maldonado, John Lockhart, Ira Brewster, Charlie Bodegar, Deborah Posey Blocker, Jamil Hicks, Roger Owens, and Sharon Mirage. The Planning Subcommittee met to discuss the results of the January 2026 service changes and presented the May 26 service changes. This was an informal meeting, and there was no quorum. For the subcommittee. I advised everyone of my new promotion as the chair of the Palm Tran Service. Well, the chair of the. I'm so nervous. The chair of the Florida Legislative Conference Board for the state of Florida, and we assured Palm Tran that we will keep communications between ATU and the Palm Tran Service Board. Mrs. Brewster thanked the service board team for efforts for the service changes. Mr. Maldonado assured the group that we will keep everyone aware and informed of any changes and emphasize the importance of getting to the public excited about Palm Tran building support and maintaining funding. The attendees were pleased to see that the rise in ridership over the past year, specifically on Route 44. Mr. Chris Walker presented the proposed service change for discussion. The subcommittee members asked for clarification on the proposed change to the Route 2 to provide airport service and collaboration with the support of the Tri-Rail. If outreach will be continued at the airport. Mrs. Brewster answered each question. The meeting was adjourned at 2:35 by Chair Acevedo.
Thank you, Mr. Acevedo. Can I ask everybody once again, let's give up a hand of applause for Mr. Vice Chair, who's moving up in the world. Oh no, pretty soon we might need to vacate his post when he moves. He's heading on up to the east side, for those of you who know the reference. That being said, though, he was so gracious to say the members present and all that, but he was the only one present. Okay. So I was scheduled for a conference. I was unable to attend. But that being said, we need to do something about our subcommittee for planning as well as paratransit. So at this juncture, I would say if there are any members of this board who would like to join our subcommittee, please let me know so that I can appoint you therein. And if there are any members of the public who are interested in fixed route or connection or both, we could use your help as well. So please see me at the end of the meeting and let me know of your interest. We have to keep these committees going because they take the votes before they come to us for a vote so that we can vote and send it off to the county commissioners. So it's really imperative that we have members. There are some members who had joined the subcommittees, but I think in the transition that has taken place over the last couple of years, and of course the departure of Roseanne LaBelle Voiles, some of that sort of got caught under the bus, if you will. So we will revamp the subcommittees. And again, if anyone has interest in joining either the Fixed Route Planning Committee, which is the one chaired by Mr. Acevedo, or the Paratransit Subcommittee, which is presently chaired by Mr. Dennis Martin, please let me know and we can get you all set up accordingly. Okay, moving along, we will be hearing the report from the actual Palm Tran team on those May service changes, followed by comments from the public on the proposed changes, and then we as a board will take a vote on said changes. Okay, so that will be the order of operations, if you will. So we now move swiftly to item 10, the action items, the May service changes, and we'll hear from Mr. Chris Walker.
Good afternoon, Chris Walker, transit planning scheduler, also serving in the interim capacity as service planning and scheduling manager with the proposed May 2026 service changes. Just do a quick performance highlight. Looking at the last quarter of 2025, system-wide on-time performance continues to show increase. We're up 3 points from the previous year. Most of our routes are higher from 2024. And 18 routes actually exceed our 78% stretch goal. So that's points to the continued collaboration that planning, operations, and our bus operators have. In terms of ridership, we have 1 full year of Port St. Lucie Express done. So now we can compare year over year, 47% since service started in that first quarter or last quarter of 2024. And then in December of 2025, we had our highest average daily ridership during the month of December, which was 72 riders. And then as Mr. Lockhart reported for the Route 44 ridership, during this time period, we saw close to a 48% ridership increase. And this is that east-west route on Belvedere that serves the airport. And that's going to take us into our proposed May service changes. Next slide. The Route 2. So this has kind of been a collaborative effort between Palm Tran and Tri-Rail. They previously had the Uber vouchers that allowed their riders to get from the West Palm Beach Tri-Rail station to the airport. They're discontinuing those vouchers, and they approached us to see if there's anything that we could do to help improve connectivity between the train station and the airport. So this is actually an idea that kind of originated with the ATU previously and having the Route 2 service the airport since it runs along Australian Avenue. So we're proposing in May to have the Route 2 deviate to the airport. It's going to serve the same stop that the Route 44 currently does, but it's also going to be a quicker ride from the intermodal to the airport, about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you'll also see more bus frequency. So the Route 44 runs every hour. The Route 2 runs every 30 minutes. So it's kind of was seen by us as a better solution to improve connectivity between not just Tri-Rail and the airport, but also all along Congress Avenue that the Route 2 operates on. So think back a year ago, the airport had 1 bus every 2 hours. In May, it's going to have 1 bus, or I'm sorry, 3 buses every hour. And on the next, I'm sorry, one more thing on this. Tri-Rail is going to pay for their riders between the airport and the Tri-Rail station. So that's going to be a contribution from Tri-Rail. Next slide. So the Route 4 and 71, the Route 4 operates from the VA to Melaleuca Lane in the Green Acres area on Haverhill Road. And it's actually intraline, so it's the same bus that operates on the Route 4 also continues as the Route 71, which operates on Lawrence and Gateway to the Boynton Tri-Rail Station and Boynton Beach Mall. These 2 routes have been operating like that for about 5 years now. We've been monitoring the progress, seeing has there been any ridership? Are people actually riding between the 2 routes, or is it just people are just staying on one or the other? Based off the data that we looked at, we've seen that there has been some ridership growth between people transferring. So on the next slide, what we're proposing to do is combine both Route 4 and 71 into a single route. So this will improve rider awareness of the availability of the one-seat ride between the VA and the Boynton Beach Mall. It'll also allow us to add Sunday service on the segment currently served by Route 71. So the Route 71 doesn't operate on Sunday, but the Route 4 does. So that will increase Sunday service along Lawrence and Gateway. We also do want to make a minor route modification, alignment modification. So between Lantana and High Paluxo, the southbound Route 71 stays on Lawrence, but the northbound goes on Military. This is kind of confusing because we can get you north in one direction, but we can't get you back south. And the Route 3 already does Military Trail. So what we're proposing is having the new Route 4 would stay on Lawrence in both directions. And then the proposed eliminated segment is still covered by the Route 3. This did require us to do a service equity analysis that's required by the Title VI. It found no disparate impact or disproportionate burden. And it actually found that the percentage of protected populations would actually increase by this alignment change. Then on the next slide, these are just other running time, minor running time adjustments based off feedback that we received from customers, from operators, and also reviewing the data. I do want to point out a couple changes though. The Route 10, there is a minor alignment modification to provide a more direct route between FAU and the Alton Town Center stop that was added a couple years ago. Also on the Route 91, there's about 4 round trips that previously every day were serving the Weinberg House. The Jewish Federation of Southern Palm Beach County approached us and asked, because that stop is on their property, they asked based off their concerns if that bus could no longer enter their property. So we've been operating on detour since January, but that's going to be a full, we're going to memorialize it with the May service changes. Then if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them at the conclusion.
I have a couple of questions. So
Okay.
Could you repeat what the Route 10 at Alton Town Center is doing?
Yeah, so and a couple years ago in 2023, I want to say, we added the deviation to the Alton Town Center, but we didn't really look at the route alignment between FAU, which is the previous stop, and Alton Town Center. So it was kind of making this very like long deviation on Donald Ross Road, and it really didn't make much sense. So instead of going to Central to get to Donald Ross Road to go back west from FAU, it's just going to go straight down Parkside Drive, so it can serve that bus stop and then go back east on Donald Ross Road.
So it's not going actually into Alton. It's just on the outskirts.
Correct. The bus stop is on the outskirts of Alton Town.
Because they've had this weird thing at Alton before we had service there that looked like a bus stop. Like I was like, it wants to be a Palm Tran bus stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So
there's a pull off there, so it's a pretty large pull off, and there's a beautiful bus stop that we actually do service. It's not inside the property, but it's right next to the property.
Okay. And so for the Route 471, what's the route going to be called?
Route 4.
Route 4. So when it comes from Boynton, it's still going to be on Haverhill when it's in West Palm? Or
When
no?
it comes from, yeah, so that part of the alignment will change or will remain the same.
Okay.
So when it's going north, it's as what the 71 does today. It would continue on Lawrence to Lantana, Lantana to Military, Military to Melaleuca, and then Haverhill up to the VA. So all that remains the same.
That's pretty great because I used to ride that and you could never find it one direction. And I would wind up walking from Santa Lucia's all the way to like Military because you couldn't figure out where the bus was. It's like, I don't find it. It's missing. So that's really great. And then the first one, the airport, my question on that one was there used to be the airport little minibus thing that they have at Broward as well as Miami. So is that gone?
Correct. That
So
was,
then-
yeah,
Okay. So all service by bus to the airport is now offered by Palm Tran.
correct.
That's why I haven't seen that little thing in a while. Okay. Anybody on the right side of the dais have questions about the service changes? How about over here? Oh, wait.
I was just going to ask for clarification about the Weinberg House. So you're getting rid of it? There was no one using it that was going there?
Yeah, I should have added that the
Please.
average daily ridership was 1,
Okay.
and there were 4 round trips that served it.
Okay. And so the one's okay?
We haven't received any complaints. And it was something that originated from the Jewish Federation.
Okay. Okay. They'll work it out. Okay. Thank you.
And it sounded like they didn't want it. Well,
It's for safety.
Correct, yeah, because the bus has to enter through a gate. Yeah.
Years ago, I drove that route, and there was no one. The two, are you going to add time to it?
Correct. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to add a bus during the peak hours.
Okay, and the four, is it going to go out of north or south?
It would stay. So currently we have two buses come out of north and one come out of south. That would stay the same.
Thank you.
Anyone else on this side of the dais? All right, and anyone else on this side?
All right, I have just a few items, and maybe, Madam Chair, this is not the place for it. However,
Hey, why does it sound like Mr. Mickens' voice comes from that way?
I'm looking at your performance highlights, slide 14. In your PSL, have any of this ridership been equated to dollars? Or were we looking from a dollars perspective? So I'm not sure. I'm trying to pose my question correctly because I'm not sure if I'm in the right audience or the right place for that question. But is there, as I know we're supplementing a lot of the Palm Trend work. And I guess my question is going into the future cuts or what the property tax impact may have. Are you doing math when we're putting out the performance highlights for the changes, the proposed changes that are going to happen?
So, if I may answer that question, Madam Chair. So the Port St. Lucie Express, unlike our regular other routes, is fully funded by the Florida Department of Transportation. This is a project that is intended to help folks commuting that part of the distance. You will be surprised how many folks are using it, not just to connect to Palm Tran, but also to connect to the dry rail and continue their commutes all the way to Miami. As a matter of fact, we even have employees that live in Port St. Lucie that are using the service. This is one that we would love to increase frequency. Obviously, the funding that is being applied to the services, that includes the current vehicles, all of the costs is actually being paid by the Florida Department of Transportation very successfully. I don't have the actual numbers for you. Does anyone have it in our team?
Ms. Martin, I don't want the numbers. I just want to know if we're able to justify it when those conversations, because I'm looking at the success. Will we be able to justify the continuation financially when it comes to that point? So just making sure that the mathematics is going to be there, because we don't want to lose it because
Yes,
you
sir.
have the success.
And I think we can definitely justify the demand, the need for it. And I think the point that we need to notice is that how the demand, the ridership continues to increase. We have actually 2 new buses that are being built to replace the older buses that we have on lease. And I just have, knowing how, folks respond to newer equipment, you may have even more ridership when we put newer buses into the service. I believe that is something that the demand is needed. Folks are asking for more runs because they run very early in the morning, very late in the afternoon for people to get back and forth. And some of them would ask and say, I would like to probably get a later trip closer to noon. So we're looking at those options and talking with the Florida Department of Transportation about some of those changes. As a matter of fact, Martin County actually approaches us to potentially having a stop somewhere that would also connect to their county as well. I think initially they did not want to do that, but I think now they are recognizing the benefit. And what is surprising, and I'm not trying to compare ourselves with other transit systems, it's in other transit systems that are doing something similar, they're not seeing the same results that we are. And that speaks volume of the quality of services that we provide, but also the fact that it is much needed. We do have a lot of folks that for some reason or another don't have affordable housing in the vicinity of our county, and they're driving long distance. We have employees that are coming all the way from Miami, to my surprise, which is amazing. And I'm not speaking about affordable housing. Anything we can do to connect people, and we'll be looking at other options to further expand our services west And of course, that will be another conversation. But I hope I was able to answer you.
Yes,
question.
yes, sir, you did. Two more questions, Madam Chair. The Route 4 service changes. You have I know just to bring some things into compliance is why we're doing some of the changes, but is there a positive or negative impact analysis done prior to these changes come into play that we're able to share in all of those open meetings that's taking place with the public?
So I'd like to hit that one, Mr. Maldonado, and then you can add to that. So, Mr. Campbell, I know you're coming from really far, but based on your interest, you might consider joining our planning subcommittee, because whenever service changes come about, it's usually to improve the service. It's rarely ever punitive, if you will, right? Unless it's one of those routes where it has so low ridership that it's a waste of money. That being said, if it were a fiscal concern, then it would be more comprehensive, such as what we had during the route performance maximization and RPM 2.0. And it would be not just one or two routes. It would be the entire system is looked at and evaluated to find more efficiencies based on ridership or coverage. That being said, they are required to do a Title VI equity study to make sure that the service changes are not going to adversely affect certain populations. And as part of that, the public hearing would be held to determine if there are questions. As a matter of fact, we're supposed to be doing that today, aren't we? Yeah, it's not on the agenda, but I just remembered. And so the public hearing would give an opportunity to members of the public to discuss any concerns that they have if it's more than 25% of the service. But I would highly encourage, if you can, usually the planning subcommittee meets quarterly unless there's something really urgent coming up. But again, unless the commission tells us otherwise, as Mr. Maldonado said in the beginning, if there are some more stringent financial moves, then they'd be looking at all of the routes, not just a few. So hopefully that helps to answer your question. And Mr. Maldonado, did you want to add something to that?
I think you definitely clarified the process a great deal, and I'm glad that you brought that information forward. We are rarely making any major changes to our services. Most of the presentations that we presented to you today are minor in comparison to services. We are not necessarily taking away services, but enhancing services. And we looked at the data, we look at the boarding information. For example, if you have a certain bus stop that we have to remove, we make sure people know that this bus stop is going to be removed. We look at how many boardings are happening. Usually you're talking 2 to 3 boardings per day. That means 1 or 2 people boarding a bus that goes to that stop probably 16 or 30 times a day. And just 1 or 2 people are riding services. But even then, we try to get as much feedback. I think the Title VI analysis is very important, and that is we look at communities that are affected, that could be affected by any type of disparity, especially low-income communities or minority community that could be affected. We want to make sure that our services are equitable across the board for everyone, and as such, even our buses get rotated daily. So we don't say, well, we have one community here that has a better type of vehicle than the other. So I know it's more information than probably you were looking for, but definitely we look into all of those factors. And if there's a major change, then definitely we'll bring it back to the community and get feedback from them as well.
I do. Oh, go right ahead.
Sorry, I didn't get to present the last slide, but this kind of ties into your question. We really started digging into like a lot of the data back in October. So that was right when our September service changes went out. We spent those few months looking at the data, looking at customer feedback. We drafted some changes. We have standing bus operator subcommittees with each operators at each garage in Belle Glade, North County, South County. We meet with them. There were substantially different, not substantially different, but there are quite a few other potential changes that we also looked at, but really weren't operationally feasible just based off the feedback that we received and looking at the data. So it is kind of like a continuous process that goes back months and months.
Thank you all. Let me give you the impetus of my question and why I was concerned. I'm going to be very specific to the region. At the time the PSL line came on, Pahokee stops, some of the stops in Pahokee were being taken away. And I received several phone calls. And at that time, I wasn't serving on this committee, on this board. Now, I appreciate the success, but rural communities seem to take a hit harder because the ridership may not appear to be the same as more urbanized communities. So not to talk about because of socioeconomic status, but it being more of those areas, having all of those things, socioeconomic and rural. Then you include the 60-mile difference, the windshield time of your buses. So my question came from that space to ensure, one, as we are doing, and then I'm a city manager, as we all know, as we are doing the changes, we're looking at the fiscal analysis of all of this. So when I do receive those phone calls, because a route has changed and that one person that really needs the bus is on that bus by themselves with the driver, but that is a true need for that rider, it has a positive, to the best of its ability, a positive impact on that rider and on the organization as well, with the understanding that it is Palm Tran is that last resort for that individual. So it did not just come because I'm looking at numbers or I'm looking at changes, because I sit here and I think back, I was one that supported some of the changes in motions and in my votes. But at the same time, I don't want anything to get lost for the rural community in the changes. And I know we've had, and I know your heart, and I know Palm Tran, all of the staff heart, and that it's not going to get overlooked. I just want to ensure, not only as the representative, but as the representative, we have to look at our rural communities and not just from the socioeconomic component, but also because of its location. So that's where it came from. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. So, and I would just add to that again, the importance of you joining our subcommittee for planning, but also, you know, I'm on Palm Tran when I need to be. And if you all haven't noticed, I got my little rubber ducky here with the eyeball, got his eye on everybody. But that being said, in truth, people in the Western communities took a hit for the service changes to connection. But when it comes to the fixed route, that's what the Go Glades was supposed to accomplish, that gap. But honestly, I can tell you right now, the commissioners are not going to make accommodations for one passenger. They're just not going to do that. And it's unfortunate. So this is the opportunity to get out there with our elected officials in the Western communities, to see what they can rally for, especially when it comes to the possibility of another budget hit from the commission. Because again, there are lots of people in the Western communities that got a hit from the connection changes, but one passenger is not going to be, we can't go to them and say this one person, not that they're not important, because the one passenger could have been me, right? But this is the way it is. But we certainly appreciate your concern and your support of our Western communities. And we're so delighted that you're here on this board. So I would say, let's have a conversation about you joining that subcommittee, and let's see how we can get our elected officials as well as the public involved. The more the commission hears from the public at commission meetings, and this is in any district, right? The more they hear from members of the public, the more they have their ears open to go back to their superiors and eventually get to the governor and say, this is the need of our people, right? Every year, as far as I'm concerned, is an election year for everybody. So we have to have the voices heard, right? We all have to do our part. But we thank you and appreciate those comments on behalf of our Western communities.
Yes, ma'am.
So question for Ms. Posey Blocker and Mr. Matumba. So I have here that I'm doing the comments on the supposed changes, but I was originally told it was a public hearing. So which would you prefer? Because I don't have instructions therein, but I mean, I've done it enough times, so.
Yeah, this is Matumba, Assistant County Attorney. You could take the comments on the item. That would fulfill the public participation requirement just fine.
Perfect. Okay, so then that is what I will proceed. I have 5 comment cards, which I believe are for the general comments. But if there is any member of the public who wishes to make comment on item number 10A, which is the proposed May service changes, would you please go to the dais, or if you need assistance, we can ask somebody to bring a microphone so that we can have your comments on the record before we take our official vote. Is there any member of the public who wishes to make comment on the proposed service changes for May? Anyone? No one? Okay, no hands up. Okay, going once, twice. Okay, we are now going to move to vote on the proposed May service changes as they stand. Do I have a motion from the floor?
Motion.
Motion from Mr. Acevedo. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Saffold. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion passes. May service changes. Thank you so very much. All right, we move now to item 11. This is our information items. And again, at the end, I will ask for any comments from our board members and so forth, but I would ask that you let them get through the report before we make comments. Item 11A will be the PMO, Performance Ridership Update with Mom Hicks. Is Ms. Jamila Hicks here?
Hi, Chair Carmencita. The update is actually from the Big Ball.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, Mom.
Hi, board members, chair. Hi, my name is Monique, and I am the Senior Performance Analyst working under Ms. Jamila Hicks. The PowerPoint before you contains the January 2026 performance report. Next slide, please. Just want to preface this information by saying that the performance report has not been published as of yet. So this is the draft version, but here's what we're looking at. For January 2026 ridership, you can see that we have ridership each mode ranging from fixed route, of course, Palm Train Connection, Go Glades, Lyft. We've gone ahead and broken those down for you. Month over month, as it compares to December 2025 data, we're seeing a 0.01% decrease. So really ridership has remained the same as it relates to all modes month over month. Next slide, please. All right, so before you do have the fixed route ridership here. You can see here that there are 3 metrics performing in the green, and that's the preventable collisions per 100,000 miles. We also have that on-time performance at 78.9%, as well as the total incidents per 10,000 boardings for fixed route. As it relates to areas of opportunity, that would be our non-preventable collisions per 100,000 miles. That's performed in that red. Our riders per revenue hour is also in that red at 15.9. We would ideally like that figure to be at 16.5, so that's why it's in the red. Additionally, we do have the accommodations per 10,000 boardings. That's at 0.18, and that metric has struggled really all year. What you'll also notice from this dashboard is that the mean distance between failure metric, it's not listed. Again, these are draft numbers at this time. It's not been published. However, we anticipate having that hopefully soon. Next slide, please. As it relates to connection, we have 4 metrics that are performing in the green. Those are the preventable collisions as well as the non-preventable collisions. We also have that mean distance between failure metric for connection. That's performing at 22,618 miles before they generally experience a breakdown, which is incredible. We also have the accommodations that are fairly performing well. Areas of opportunity include that on-time performance. That's at 79.3%. Ideally, we would like that minimum to be 85. And then also that reservations call hold time that's listed as 11 minutes and 20 seconds right now for connection. And that's a 7-minute decrease as compared to December 2025. So moving in the right direction. However, obviously much over that 4-minute maximum that we'd like to see there. And then in terms of productivity, we're at 1.46, which is great for the riders per revenue hour. And then the Where's My Ride hold time, that's at 3 minutes and 25 seconds. So that's performing on target as expected. What you don't see here in this dashboard, generally there's a Go Glades performance dashboard. We don't have one at this time. However, in just our preliminary review of the data, actually all of the metrics are in the green as they generally have been for months. So yeah, that concludes my performance update if there are no questions.
Thank you, Monique. Please remind me your last name again.
Baldwin.
Thank you. I knew that.
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Baldwin. Anyone have questions for her? Thank you so much. And Ms. Jamila, can I say it out loud? Okay, because we were talking about you while you weren't here. Can I just ask everybody, we're chock full of applause today. Can everybody give a hand for Ms. Jamila's latest addition, the little girl that came into her life?
Oh.
So we're so happy to have you back. All righty. We're now moving on to item B, the bus link update, which will be followed, well, first the report will be given by Ms. Brewster, and it will be followed by comments from Mayor Hamara, and then we'll move on to the next report and have public comments.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board. My name is Ira Brewster. I'm the Director of Transit Planning here at ComTran. So we're just going to go and give a verbal update on the status of the bus link program. As you guys recall, at our last board meeting, Mr. Christopher Walker gave an update on the changes that were to come, and those changes were implemented on February 1st. Now, going back just a little, on December 2nd, we brought an item before our Board of County Commissioners asking for guidance on how to continue with the program. The board advised us to continue the program with modifications geared towards efficiency and that we would be reporting back within 6 months, which is what we did. So as you can't see because I don't have a chart, but I'm going to tell you. So based off of our analysis, before the bus link was completing almost 29,000 trips per month throughout zone-wide, and that encompassed originally 3 zones. The original zones were in Royal Palm Beach, Riviera Beach, and Boca Raton. So since we've made those program modifications, we've only seen 4,000 trips across all zones, and this is in addition to new zones that were added. So we will be back towards the board within the next, 3 months now. We'll be going back this summer to present the modifications and the changes within the program. So as we do that, what we've been doing is evaluating feedback from the public, trip origin and destination, and demand in specific areas to decipher what the next steps will look like. So that includes possible solutions such as deviated flex routes, mobility on-demand options, and even revisiting specific fixed route options in certain areas. So we're going to continue to monitor that data, and I will be happy to take any questions from any of you guys. And just to give you a little preview on what some of the changes were that we made to the program, we brought the voucher amount down from $8 to $5. We limited the trips from 4 to 2, and we did some zone modifications for some of those zones that we were seeing, the system wasn't being utilized properly, to ensure that it was a true first and last mile system. So I am open for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brewster. So what went from $8 to $5?
The voucher amount. So we were contributing to the Uber voucher, 8 or 5. So, and also, I want to let you guys know that we did send out mailers. So these mailers were to let our customers know that, hey, have you tried the service yet? And I do want people to know that, in addition to the Uber voucher, BusLink encompasses a TNC program through our taxi network, which is Metro Taxi. So the Metro Taxi portion of the BusLink program still provides our customers $8 vouchers and up to $15 vouchers for wheelchair accessible rides. So this, on our mailers that we sent out, this information was made privy. So if customers, visit our website, they'll be able to register for that voucher amount through the taxi program and still get to where they need to be.
So how did you get their address and who got these letters?
We got our ways. No, I'm just kidding. We have, so through our marketing team, we do have like subscribed mailer lists, and Janessa or Deborah could correct me if I'm wrong. We do have like some data from is it public affairs? So there are multiple ways that we can get in contact with our residents.
Okay. Anyone to my left have a question?
I have a question.
Mr. Gibbs.
You said there were 29,000 paratransit.
No, so this isn't paratransit. This is the BusLink program. And this essentially supplemented certain fixed routes that were eliminated due to ridership. Yeah.
Supplemented fixed route. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else on this side of the dais? All right. To my right.
Yes.
So was that your goal? I mean, is that where you wanted to land, 29,000 to 4,000?
Well, we were advised by the Board of County Commissioners to make it efficient.
Right.
And, operationally, it needed to be the cost. What it did, it did better than we expected.
That's what I was
right?
wondering.
So,
That's
which
what I
is a
was
good
wondering.
thing, right?
Okay.
Well, that means that we're providing mobility on demand options. But as you heard from Mr. Maldonado, we
Right.
do have budget constraints that we have to follow.
Right. So I'm just wondering if that landed where they wanted it to.
Hey, when we bring it back before the board, which I'm excited to see, I'm looking forward to that feedback to see how we move forward.
Okay. And this is what dates is this? Just February 1?
This is from February 1 to February 25th.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may add
Yes, sir.
a couple of things. So we met individually with the various commissioners to brief them on some of the changes that we need to do. We have one zone in particularly that we call the Riviera Beach zone, actually encompasses it's like 6 different cities. So that's where greater demand was happening, and folks were not utilizing accordingly. It was supposed to be a first and last mile service to get people to fix route. You have folks who were traveling across the whole region practically to get that. So we had to make some adjustments to that. So when we go back before the board, we will be making recommendations specifically in areas where we see additional improvements are needed. And Major Hamara is here, and we have had some additional communications about that particular area. We see the potential need to perhaps restore services of the fixed route. So we'll be making recommendations as needed. I don't want to speak on behalf of every commissioner, but I think for the most part, the commissioners understand that the need is great. That we're hoping to see an increase in ridership, but more so an increase in efficiency. And when I mean efficiency, is it being utilized for people to get to where they need to? So places like Boca, for example, where you have multiple services out there, a BusLink program probably is going to have very low ridership. Places like Royal Palm Beach, where you have limited services, we might need to go back and revisit that area and incorporate some of the changes that we did. Some of the decisions that happened, and I'm not blaming in any way my predecessors at any time, were decided before I came in. So I want to be able to speak based on my own knowledge and expertise in the transit industry, having worked in multiple transit systems, to go back to the board and explain to them, this is what seems to be efficient, and this is how we're going to be able to find ways to fund it. We have applied for multiple grants for other services westbound, and I appreciate all the comments that have happened. We recognize that there are more services needed in areas of the west part of the county where you have limited services out there. And now I live in Arden, so it's kind of hard for me to even get to the Route 40, which is, I will have to walk a good distance to get to it. So we definitely will be going back to the board with some of the, and we're being honest with our customers when they're calling us, giving us information. We're taking all that information in, and then we're going back to them and say, hey, we're going to go back and recommend. But before we do that, we're going to do the same thing we did with this last changes. We went and met with the municipalities to discuss some of the changes and what we were thinking about doing that. I think from the municipality perspective, sometimes you're communicating with a city manager, perhaps a planning director, somebody like that. So we will ask, as we are meeting with those staff, that are appointed, to make sure that that communication is fluid with their members of the elected board, because sometimes that information that gets back and forth is not quite the intent of the elected officials. And I'm not, I'm also, a hired staff member here at the county, but we definitely want to make sure that our elected officials are well informed of everything that we do and why we do what we do.
Yes. If you guys don't have any questions.
Anyone else on this side?
Nope.
Glad to hear there's some revisiting going to happen.
Yes.
So at this time, I'd actually like to invite Mayor Hamara up.
Yeah.
So Ms. Brewster, if you could stay reasonably close.
Well, thank you again, Madam Chair, for the opportunity. First of all, I appreciate the effort that I see to respond to, as an elected official, my constituents. They don't go to the village manager. They come to me, as they should, or to others. And so what I try to do is I try to share that information as quickly as I possibly can. And even if it's like one person, we kind of had that conversation about one person kind of a thing. The one thing I get concerned about is, are we sure that it's only one person? We're only hearing from one person. I heard that question posed as, how do you know where to mail the mailers to get the feedback? That's always been one of the things I suspect is a big challenge, is making sure that you're getting valid feedback. People tend to be very, very quiet, especially if they get into a situation where they feel hopeless. I don't know how to get that first mile, last mile thing done. And just real quick, back to the countywide transportation master plan. That first mile, last mile is really, really important, because we can have the greatest system, but if you can't get into that system, it's not going to work. So the whole thing has to work. So let me just read just a small part of this email, which I did forward, and I appreciate getting the response that I got. And I know you all will follow up with the individual who wrote this from Royal Palm Beach. But here's what Christopher says. He says, good morning. This has to do with bustling concerns as a subject. I am writing to formally express my deep concern regarding the current state of the busling program and the significant economic disadvantage it has placed on elderly residents that reside in Royal Palm Beach, like my mother, following the removal of Route 52 in 2024. When Route 52 was eliminated, the stated goal was to save the county money and increase efficiency. At that time, BusLink was presented as a viable alternative, initially at $8 vouchers per day, which was later expanded to $4. I'm not sure I read that right. But anyway, yes, it is. That's right. Expanded to $4. While an Uber or taxi is never affordable, as the $1 fare she paid as a senior on the fixed route, the $8 vouchers were a bit more manageable if timed properly based on surge pricing. Now, I don't know about you all. I'm not even sure I understand what that said. And for me, that's one of the problems. It gets so complicated. I mean, I can't really fully know how to put all these pieces together. So I get concerned, and I'm sure you all are, about the folks who are in need of this kind of service. He goes on to say, however, the recent reduction of the voucher to only $5, combined with the inherent volatility of rideshare pricing, has made her daily life unsustainable. let me finish it up with just a couple of the other strong comments that he made. Under the heading of program regression, reducing the voucher value while the cost of living and rideshare fees increase has effectively stranded those who cannot walk long distances in the remaining fixed route stops. And finally, he says, I look forward to hearing from Palm Tran and how they intend to address these service inequities for fixed income patrons. So, first of all, I know how they did because, by the way, this was dated yesterday. So this is fresh off the press, right? And I know you've already engaged, which I take great pleasure from hearing. But if you listen to how well written this is, I have this feeling it represents more than just that one individual. And I also have the feeling it's not the last time I'm going to hear about it. And so I wanted to make sure I made the point by sharing it with you all in person because it is really part of the system, but it's also part of the human needs that we all try to address. So I just wanted to share it and thank both of you all for being so quick to respond to this, but also I'll be glad to speak at the Board of County Commissioners meeting, and I'll share with them any of these kinds of messages, hopefully to compel a little more compassionate approach to dealing with this situation. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hamar, for sharing that. And, you know, I echo those sentiments because when I think about, somebody remind me, what's the price of the Port St. Lucie Express?
$3.
Okay. See, this is where I have a problem. So a lot of people who live in Port St. Lucie are, and I can't make assumptions, but we'll just say people have homes a lot, I'm going to guess. They're paying $6 round trip to enter another county. You can't do anything in this county for $3. You can't even get like a cup of coffee or a bottle of water anymore for $3, you know, for the most part. So the fact that the voucher has been reduced from $8 to $5, that's almost half the price that they were getting. So I agree. I mean, and even though I did say the commissioners aren't going to make a change for one person, obviously there are other people caught in the cracks who didn't write the letter, right? And so this person is speaking on behalf of them. So this is why it's important for everyone to have a presence at the commission meetings, right? To be able to express those heartfelt sentiments because, you know, giving people a voucher under the guise of saying this is going to sort of be a panacea for the reduction of the route, and then you take it away, that's, you know, there was a word for that we can't use anymore because it's not politically correct, but I think you all know where I'm going with that. I mean, that's just ridiculous because you have to think about it. If the person is using the fixed route, most people, you know, they, over the years that I've been affiliated with this organization, which has been like 10 now, I've been told that there were choice riders, which always felt derogatory to me because it's like you make the other people whom we do the Title VI and equity, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be equity analysis, Freudian. You know, you make them feel like they don't have a choice, right? And I get that, but it's just the way it sounds in terms of the connotation. So if someone is someone who doesn't have a choice, and then you take the route away, and then you take the voucher, half of that away, but then people who are going to Port St. Lucie who likely have homes only pay $3, that's really problematic for me. So I can't imagine that the idea that we may have more reductions could possibly result in those vouchers being less, because then you've basically just taken the service away. And I don't mean you personally, Mr. Maldonado, but these are the things that we need to hear about. So again, for those members of the public who are here today, this is why we need you to be here. And this may not affect you personally, but there are other things that do, whether it is the connection and the connection plus, et cetera, et cetera. That's why members of the public need to be here. That's why they need to contact and reach out to your elected officials. So as you can see, show up to our meetings. So we have a wonderful county that supports us. And now we need to let the commissioners know why this service is important. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that I've said over and over, eventually these service cuts are going to affect the Palm Tran staff. We've heard all the rumblings and the things that are going on in Mr. Acevedo's arena. And I just need to remind you that it will be not very long before they'll say, well, we're pretty top heavy in this organization. Do we need all these, you know, operations managers and so on and so forth? Do we need this huge executive leadership team? Because if they're going to cut the service for the passengers by both fixed route and connection, and they're going to cut service, cut employees and those kinds of things, how long is it going to be before it gets to the top echelons? So this is everybody's concern. And I've said before, we all have a fiduciary responsibility to keeping transit sustainable for this county, for our veterans, which, by the way, Deborah Tendrich wrote a wonderful bill last year to get free passes for our veterans, which was voted down. And so for our veterans, our elderly, and those with disabilities, and some of them are all three, okay? We have to do a better job of that. So we need all hands on deck. We need members of the public. We need members of these municipalities who are elected, and you, the staff, as well, to rally for these important causes, because it may not be that this voucher is something that affects you directly. It may not be that Connection Plus affects you, but eventually it's going to be something that affects you, up to and including your very own employment. So this is a real serious issue, and I thank Mayor Hamara for bringing this to our attention. And this is another clarion call for board members and members of the public to join us at those county commission meetings where we can really pull upon the heartstrings. We have at least one commissioner whose family member uses our connection service, and so we have to get the other ones on board to understand why this transportation system is so very vital. We're at a time where people need payday loans on payday, okay? The cost of groceries is exorbitant. So maybe there are going to be less choice riders who can't gas up their car, who can no longer live in their car because it's illegal, right? So that's why we need sustainable transportation to get people where they want to go. Again, our commissioners are very focused on workforce education, workforce housing. I had the opportunity to visit with my leadership class last month, Palm Beach State College, my ex-employment alma mater, and look at some of the workforce programs, which are delightful. But again, if we want to get students involved in apprenticeship programs and increase our workforce, and all that's wonderful, but we got to get the people where they need to go, and we got to get them back. First mile, last mile, and everything in between. So I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, thank you so much, Madam Chair, for those comments. Mayor Hamara, thank you as well for bringing that to everyone's attention. And keep in mind, our staff receives customer commendations and concerns weekly. This is not the first concern we've seen like this. We consistently respond and let the customers know we're continuing to work diligently to find the best possible solution for everyone. So I had a very fruitful conversation with Mr. Mascara yesterday. He explained to me the issue with his mother, and I also provided him several other options that were available to them. And I also encouraged him to follow up with me afterwards to let me know how it went. So I'll be looking forward to that conversation and continuing to take phone calls like that. I call. So I will call, talk to my customers. My staff has called customers. We've helped plan trips. So there's no limit to where we'll go to ensure that we're helping the public. So thank you guys if you don't have any more questions.
Thank you, Ms. Brewster. We appreciate that. So we are moving to item C, but before we do so, I just need to ask, are there any people who are scheduled to have pickups at 3 o'clock? So we're good? Okay, because we do have, after this report and our initial set of public comments, we do have customer service. So if I need to switch the customer service comments for the public ones, please let me know. I can ask the board if they would take a motion to amend, because we want people who came here to make comments be able to fit them in. So as we get to this next report, I will ask again if anyone's ride is in jeopardy of coming. Okay, perfect. I appreciate that. Okay, so we are now up to 11C, Public Relations and Community Outreach with Ms. Janessa Croce.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Janessa Croce, and I'm the Senior Manager of Public Relations. Next slide, please. All right. Palm Trans Executive Leadership and Marketing teams attended Palm Beach County Day in Tallahassee from January 13th through 14th this year. The team met with county and state representatives to discuss important community and county business. These conversations focused on advancing initiatives that benefit our community and support local government and development. Riviera Beach MLK Day Parade. Palm Trans joined the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade on January 17th in Riviera Beach. The marketing team walked alongside our Celebrating Black History bus. We distributed bus passes to parade goers, and we waved, and we just, promoted good community development. The parade featured the theme, Walk Together in Unity with Purpose, which was displayed on a leading banner. Next slide. PalmTran unveiled the More Than Pink bus on January 13th on WPTV at 4:30 in the morning on WPTV with breast cancer survivors and Susan G. Komen. County officials declared January 31st, 2026 as More Than Pink Day at a governmental center event on January 27th. And then our bus was featured at the More Than Pink Walk on January 31st, where attendees took photos and showed support with our pink bus. The Florida Public Employer Labor Relations Association training. So Terry James, Justine Hampton, and Aaron Galloway received a Florida Public Employer Labor Relations certificate after completing a year-long course. I'm just going to say FPERLA or LRA is a professional organization comprising over 300 management professionals focused on public sector relations, collective bargaining, and HR within Florida. And last, it is baseball time. Spring training. We're very excited. PalmTran is promoting service for baseball fans attending spring training games in West Palm Beach and Jupiter. Spring training runs from February 21st through March 22nd. Routes 3 and 4 provide direct trips to Cacti Park, and Route 10 provides service to Roger Dean Stadium. Outreach efforts are underway at the sport venues to encourage fans to use the bus for their trips to the stadium. And we're very excited because each park is actually offering deals this year. So if you ride PalmTran, show your Paradise Pass. Show that you brought your Paradise Pass. Cacti Park will take $10 off your ticket, and Roger Dean will give you a $20 seat in their box section. So we're very happy about that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. I assume there are no comments for her. All right, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. We now move quickly to item 11D, which is public comment on the information items. Let me remind you what those are. That would be the performance ridership update, the bus link update, and or Mayor Hamara's comments therein, or the public relations and community outreach that you just heard. I have 5 cards. Did any of you wish to comment on any of those items? Anyone? Once? Twice? No? Okay. We now move to, yes? Ride's calling me. All right. We now move to item 12. Is there anyone whose ride needs to go? Okay, so then we'll move quickly to item number 12, customer service report. And let me remind you, please feel free to get up and get some snacks. Well, we're almost done, but if you want to get some snacks, just do what you need to do. Thank you, Mr. McGregor.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, members of the board.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jeff McGregor. I'm the customer service administrator for PalmTran and Connection Both. And I brought a few slides with me today just to share a little bit of information with you. The first slide has to do with complaints and commendations that we received. And we received these by telephone, in person, emails, letters. There's a sort of a wide variety. We have a form on the website that we receive. So there's lots of ways that we receive information from our customers. So how are we doing with our customers? And this gives us a little bit of a snapshot of it. I'm looking at the number of trips we had for January for fixed route, over 700,000. So there's lots of opportunities for someone to have a complaint, but you'll notice if you look at the yellow, which is for January, that the total number of raw complaints we had was 243, and the commendations was 13. And for connection, we had 125 complaints and 99 commendations. So these sort of float pretty much the same for month to month. You can see December, we had a little less. Of course, we had the holiday. But let's go to the next slide and look at the type of complaints, for instance, for fixed route that are typical. discourteous driver, pass up, behind schedule. These are really three of the sort of top kind of complaints that we would get. And if you take a look at January, which is over there on the far right, you'll see that according to this, in comparison, we had a little bit of an increase. Notice that pass ups were just a little up, and but behind schedule was actually a little more than it was in December. So we see that we've got a little bit of work to do there. However, remember we had over 700,000 trips. So in looking at these numbers, you can still see that the service is actually pretty good for the majority of people.
Is that 700,000 fixed route?
That's just fixed route. And Connection had, over 70,000. So there's 70,000 opportunities. Now, if we take a look at the next slide, this one is Connection's top kind of complaints. Discourteous driver, vehicle no-show, and on-time performance are really the three sort of top ones. And if you take a look at the January, which is over there on the far right-hand side, you'll see that certainly in comparison to November, we had a little bit of a decrease, slight increase, and this is on-time performance. So we're still struggling a little bit with on-time performance, but we're hoping that this new Connection Plus program is going to help us in that area. Now let's go to the next slide, which is a call volume. This gives you a little bit of an idea of the volume of calls. Remember that we're doing more than just taking complaints or commendations. We're also helping people with, when the bus is going to arrive, maybe what route they should take if they want to get from here to there, questions about policy, and of course, complaints and commendations. So we really have a mixture of kinds of things. And the same goes for Connection. We have more fixed route trips going, so it's understandable that the number of calls would be higher, and you can see that in comparison to Connection's incoming calls. So, yeah, I tried to kind of keep it brief. There's lots of really interesting kind of information that we look at from the staff standpoint, but this little bit of a brief survey gives you at least a little bit of an idea of how we're doing with our customers. And I think the answer is that we're doing pretty good. So I'd be happy to answer any questions before we move on to the next item, which I see is public comments.
No questions, right? Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Ms.
All right,
Apple has a question.
So
Ms. Apple has a question.
I yield to.
No, we have
public
one
comments.
question.
Oh,
from
we
Ms.
do have a
Apple.
question.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
I have a question.
Sure.
Would you serve, because you can actually file a complaint directly through YouServe, do you all access those complaints as well?
Well, those that are actually, and we get, by the way, we do get complaints that people call us about YouServe, and then we serve those on them. But the number of complaints that YouServe or Lyft might get are not actually shared with us. But the ones that we actually receive, and we do receive some, then that becomes part of the, part of the numbers that you see here, and those are served on, served on them through the contractor. So we have a contractor that actually serves those complaints on them. We don't have a lot of complaints from either one of those, but we are, we're able to take them, and we do.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
All
And I actually have a comment from someone who texted it. I'll read it during the general comments time.
Well, then I'll yield to public comments.
Perfect. All righty. Thank you so very much. We now move to item number 13, public comments general. I have 4 cards, but of course, if anyone else has, we may have lost a few people. Victoria Doyle, is she still here?
She left.
Okay, so she's gone. Next, we have Carolyn Lapp. All right. Would you like someone to bring you the microphone?
Yes, please.
Could someone bring her the microphone? Someone? Anyone? Oh, okay, great. Thanks. Well, I can't do it.
Thank you. Thank you. My name's Carolyn Lapp. I'm the founder and executive director of the Florida Outreach Center for the Blind. And for those that of you that know Bill and I, we love PalmTran and PalmTran Connection. We moved from a rural area where there was no transportation to Palm Beach County just for the service. So I want to recommend those folks who live in the rural area to do like we did and what the chair advised, and that is to make sure your commissioners know the need. Even if you have to pack the commission's meeting every month, telling them and showing them the people who need the service from your area. When we got here, PalmTran was nothing like it is today. We had those old econo vans, and we didn't have the nice vans that we have now with the safety features and the cameras and everything. We didn't have holiday service. And a lot of things we have now, U-Serve and Lyft, there was none of that. So you know, if you want it, you got to fight for it. Trust me, we've been there, and it's worth the effort. We love the service now with Lyft and U-Serve added to Connection. It's been wonderful. I mean, we feel like we joined the human race. We actually can call when we want a ride to go somewhere, you know, that day. So it's just wonderful. I also want to say thank you for the Port St. Lucie Express. One of my jobs at the center involves talking to people in the outer counties like Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, Okeechobee, and you just want to cry when they can't get this to the center for service. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. So those people can come in and they can get training and they can access all the things that we have here in Palm Beach County. From my clients at the center, really the only two complaints that I get is the long call times, that when they call in to reserve a ride, and that U-Serve is taking so long to get them on board with them. So thank you very much, PalmTran. We love you, and let us know if there's anything we can do to support the service, including training the drivers or going to see commissioners, anything like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lapp, and thank you for all the work you do with our blind community at the Florida Outreach Center for the Blind. And thank you for bringing your mom today. Hi, Mom.
It's her first meeting. She heard about
All right.
Connection, but she never been to any of the.
Well, welcome. Please avail yourself of some snacks. Okay, next up I have Mr. Mark Melendez, President of the National Federation for the Blind Local Chapter.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am writing on behalf of the members of the blind community. In regard to the recent service reductions for PalmTran Connection, I'll play it. I'm just gonna have my voiceover read the public
Or you
comments.
could speak from your heart. You know, you don't have to have all the fine points. I think everyone would appreciate what you have to say.
Huh?
It's up to you, whichever you want to do.
there's a letter and
Hello, Moto. Yeah. All right.
there is a letter that I gave to the board, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that from my heart. So, on behalf of Palm Beach County and the blind community, I am very concerned about the recent service cuts or service times, and this has greatly affected the Braille Club and the activities, especially in the evenings. That on every fourth Friday of each month we do have karaoke from 4:45 to 8:45, in which now Palm Tran has cut the times on weekdays to 8 o'clock at night, which is very uncomparable to the original times that which it should always be, the last pickup should be around always the original time, which is for YouServe customers. I know for YouServe customers, the cutoff time is 11 p.m. For connection customers, I believe prior to the cutoff time, it was 9 o'clock at night. But I really want this service times restored to its original levels so that we could resume our Braille Club activities and activities as a whole, especially in the evenings, because Palm Tran Connection is a lifeline for the blind and visually impaired who have no other alternative means of getting around. And this service is very vital to us. So please, I ask the board to reconsider the time adjustment to be restored to its prior levels, if all possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Melendez. And so I will remind you that you, as the president incumbent of the local chapter of the National Federation of the Blind, it is imperative that members come out to the county commission meetings once we are apprised of when the next one will be, especially as it pertains to budget, because the community has to come out and speak candidly about how the changes have adversely affected their lives. Otherwise, the choir is right here. We got our robes, so you do need to get people to come on out to voice the concerns and how they've been adversely affected.
Oh, for sure.
We are well aware of the fact that people who are blind and vision impaired have very little life of, anything. And those that have to work because they have to work. And so that leaves little time for anything in the way of quality of life. So thank you for coming out today. We appreciate that. I have one more card from Ambassador Brown, but before I call him, is there anyone else in the public who would like to make comment at this time? Any members of the community? Okay. So Ambassador Nikki Brown, come on down.
How are you? Okay, yeah. First of all, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody, and also I want to go a few things. First of all, I'd like to find out what date is Palm Tree going to be opening up the connection on Congress.
Oh, that is a good question. Mr. Maldonado?
I didn't quite hear the question
He
again.
wants to know when the new connection office will open up
Okay, all right, good. Thank you for
and when
for
we're
sa-
going to be invited.
So we are trying to get the facilities fully prepared for our vendors to move in, hopefully in April. And we might probably see our connection staff moving there just before that time. And obviously, we will have an opening event to let our PTSB board members to come in and visit our facilities. There were some preparations that needed to happen before the facility was ready. We're also working through agreements with our vendors to make sure that we have the appropriate documentation in place. So hopefully in April we'll be there.
Wonderful. So this board, as well as Ambassador Brown, look forward to receiving our invitation to those festivities. We sure
Good.
do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Brown?
Yes, I did want to bring up a thing I talked with you earlier. Um, it's something that happened before Mr. Forbes passed away. We discussed this. Um, and this was only supposed to be for passengers who were loyal to Palm Trend that go to work and have been using Palm Trend for a long time. Now what we did was I started this myself once he explained it to me. I gave I'm giving a bunch of passes, 1 day passes to all the drivers to go ahead. If somebody needs to get to work and they need to get, we don't want them to lose their jobs or anything. We just want them to get to work. And it's being kind of, I like to say, being good-hearted. Being of a good heart. It's just showing the people that Palm Trend does care. So, what I did, what I decided to do was have the business routes with all the people that go to work, only for the working people. These are for people going to work. This way they won't have a problem getting to work. We want to make sure everyone has these, get the job. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start with about 3 routes. I'd like to start with the route 1. I already have 43 going. And 1, 2, and 3, and 43. Those are business routes. And maybe down the line we'll go to 31, but we have to go to where people going to work. So, especially the number 1. I know the number 1 has a lot of people going down to work. I mean, downtown, this bus is just incredible. I mean, during the week, I'm talking about from 7 o'clock in the morning to about 9 o'clock. The bus is totally packed. And all these people going to work. So I just want to put that out there. All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. Okay, last call. Any members of the public wish to make any general comments? All right, going once, twice, gone. We are now up to number 14, board member comments. So, actually, I forgot. I do have a comment that was sent to me. My bad. Emmy Hutton, spelled EMI, Hutton, HUTTON, sends a comment about Palmtran and the UServe, that essentially there was an event in Boca Raton. The date was, I'm going to try to read through this really quickly, on the 17th annual Boating and Beach thing held on February 21st from 10 to 3 in Boca Raton. Palmtran bus number 22102, the driver was named Jean. Essentially, the customer's name was Michelle Holder, who had an electric chair and is vision impaired. The driver used the lift to onboard her, but the chair got stuck and he was unable to get her on board. The driver then proceeded to ask Ms. Hutton if she would resolve the issue and help the passenger, so that she could get on board the bus. And we don't do that because if something happened to her, she doesn't work for Palmtran. So yeah, that probably needs a little bit of attention. She also notes the fact that it took about 15 minutes, and instead of the driver contacting dispatch or asking another driver, he proceeded to make her responsible. Moreover, she has sent me a photograph with the license plate of the bus that Jean was driving, and also stated that, and I have witnessed this myself, that as a rule, UServe drivers don't feel as though they need to provide assistance. They don't like to get out of the vehicles to help passengers. They sit there and arrive. And in particular, when it comes to vision impaired clients, they may not know what a car looks like, what to look for in the license plate, and they just sit there. So they're like a regular Uber. On occasions when they've come to the lighthouse, I've had to ask them to get out of the car, and I've been told, well, they don't look like there's anything wrong with them. I mean, do I look like anything's wrong with me? Okay, but that's not. Thank you. I hope that wasn't the laughter. I got you, Mr. Lapp. But the idea is, USERF has, gotten away from some of the Palm Tran premises of safety and customer service, access to opportunity that is safe, efficient, and courteous. So therein, it is lacking, and so somebody's got to police them a little bit in terms of how to do that, because they are making assessments about clients' ability to move if they don't see their cane or if they don't look to be what they think a disabled person should look like, and so on and so forth. So we need to have these issues handled, and that was the comment that came from Ms. Hutton.
Exactly.
Okay, now we'll move on to item number 14, board member comments. We're going to start with Mr. Gibbs, who has renewed his commitment to our subcommittees. He already serves on both the paratransit and planning committee. So, yeah, you did. Yeah. So we thank him for that, his service.
All right. Well, a couple of comments real quick.
Thank you, sir.
First, I want to compliment, and this doesn't come easy for me. I want to compliment the staff. The amount of minutia that you guys deal with and that you gather and that you attempt to gather in order to know what we're doing and not doing and provide the services that we provide is just amazing. And I want to compliment you for even the attempt and the success at it that you're accomplishing. It's just phenomenal. So I compliment you on that. I think that the board should consider having some sort of a board meeting at different locations, like the Glades, Boca, Jupiter, occasionally, to get input from local residents in those areas. I think that would be a wonderful public relations and beneficial effort. I'd like to suggest that we look into that. I also think that maybe the board, this is a question, should have voted on the voucher reductions. That's service oriented for sure. And I think we may have missed the vote on that, and we should be a part of that process in the future. And I want to second Mayor Hammer's comments. I appreciate them. We need more input from our municipal folks. So I don't know how we do that. Maybe Blocker can come up with ways to for us to attend meetings. Maybe one or two board members schedule meetings and take questions or something and pass them on and so forth. That's it.
Thank you for those comments, Mr. Gibbs. As it pertains to us meeting elsewhere, I think it's a wonderful idea, but Ms. Posey Blocker would have to give us advice on that, because we serve under the behest of the commissioners. And so if there's any movement of meetings or change in meeting style, it is up to them to decide that.
We can do it, I think.
Yeah.
We can do it. We used to do it.
Again, she'll let us know if that is the case. Ms. Posey Blocker will, again, get with the commissioners, right? Where'd she go? Oh, there you are. I'm looking over here.
That's correct. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will look into that.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for those comments. Ms. Saffold, is Mr. Salvendron still here?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, because I was like, I heard his
I have
voice.
no comments.
He's
Yeah.
hiding.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Saffold?
I know eligibility wasn't really mentioned during today's meeting. I do have some concerns as to the application. I mean, I could save my comment for the subcommittee, the paratransit subcommittee. I have mentioned before how inaccessible the application is there. I mean, I can provide suggestions or recommendations in regards to it, but it appeared that it's a ADA concern in regards to the application, not just for someone who's blind, but someone who's print disabled, to not be able to access the application. Even someone who has the skill set and the ability to complete the application, it is not ADA accessible. So I just want to bring it to the attention of those who deal with the application. If it's some other alternative, I know the ADA points out that either it has to be accessible or it has to be or the agency would have to accommodate in terms of eligibility. So just wanted to make mention. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Saffold. Did we lose Mr. Mickens?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to speak on his behalf because first we need to thank our county commissioners again for adding a 14th seat to this body. They changed the precedent, and that was in part to allow for the nomination of Manuel Rivera by Commissioner Joel Flores, but also to retain Mr. Mickens, whom we have not seen in the last two meetings and has shown up for this one, but then left early. So this is admonition to all board members. We are so thankful to have our commissioners who do nominate us and provide for our attendance here, who do provide for holiday service and other kinds of things that we're grateful for. So the least that we can do is keep good attendance. Some people here hold elective offices and stuff like that, so it's understood, but we have to maintain regular attendance because it is their right to remove us at any time. So when we fight for the seat and then you don't show up and then you leave early, it really sends a comment to our commissioners that is unfavorable. So just as a reminder to everyone, let us be prudent about our attendance. Mr. Stanzione?
No comment.
Okay. Come back to you. First Lady Hamara.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for today. I just wanted to say that I appreciate my best friend Mayor Hamara and his comments today. He was the one that actually received the email and the letters, so I felt like it was really his option to bring them to the board. So thank you, dear. I look forward to this revisiting. There really has not been much out in Royal Palm, and we're kind of partial to that area. So I appreciate you revisiting it, considering revisiting. Thank you.
Thank you, First Lady. I think we have next Ms. Hausen-Mischler, right? No?
Manuel Rivera.
Oh,
here.
Mr. Rivera, Senor
How you
Rivera.
doing?
Sorry, I didn't realize that you were here.
No problem. Happy birthday, by the way. Thank you. I got to say, I'll echo down from our furthest down member that I do appreciate the level of detail you guys go to because it is nice to see that. And I'm sure to gather that data and then have to regurgitate it out to us, right, and have us analyze it is definitely something that it's important. So appreciate all that feedback and also all the community stuff that you guys do on the outreach program, like some of the events you guys do, especially the Pink Bus and the Riviera. So pretty neat stuff that definitely, involvement from all of us and you guys is important, especially in the community. So keep up the great job and we'll be here to help and support you guys. Thank you.
And I'm sorry I didn't recognize you sooner. I didn't realize you came in.
Oh,
sorry about that.
no problem.
Now, Ms. Hausen-Mischler.
Thank you. First, happy birthday. I'm just going to piggyback. Happy birthday. Your work always is impeccable by staff. And it is very difficult for me to agree with Jim Gibbs, but I will. We love each other. And I would say, if we take it on the road, we do know where to find a bus. That's all I'm saying. Thank you again.
And Mr. Campbell.
No comment other than happy birthday to you, and I'm glad you did have your birthday because I came hungry. So I'm glad you did that. But no, happy birthday, and that's all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mayor, for those concerns that you bring in from your constituency and district. And it's important that we educate the people that make the decisions. And it's going to take the whole community to educate the commissioners because what I've seen in my years here, when they make decisions, I don't see that most of the times they understand our issues or the issues of the public that ride the service, that use the modes to go to the doctor, dialysis, to the clinic. And sometimes I don't think we promote ourselves as a transit agency enough to let the community know what we do, how vital we are, how we start the city and we end the city. We are, a economic engine. So I think that we need to, do a little more of that. And I'm going to say all the time, if you can, legislation started January and it's about to end in about 2 weeks. If you can take some time to go to Tallahassee and see how things are done there. you should go. I'm going Monday. I'm going Monday for a special session for a bill that's, particularly to, the working class. And it's going to take, if we're not up there in their face, and holding them accountable, they're going to make decisions on our behalf that is going to be detrimental to the working class. So if you can reach out to your representatives, please reach out and let them know that, some of these bills will impact, the working family who is already behind the eight ball. So, and I also want to thank the planning department because they work so hard trying to make these routes efficient and feasible for the people to use, and get around the city. I see that the Route 71 and the 4 has been in a line for a few years and is now going to make the route more seamless because it's going to stay on Lawrence Road instead of going up one way and going down the other way. So I do thank you for that, and thank you for the good work you do. Thank you.
What he said. So my last comment, it's just great to see you all. I'm really delighted that we were able to gather. Remember, there is no April meeting and we will not have a March meeting. So I believe the fourth Thursday in May should be May 28th, but you'll be apprised accordingly. At this time, I'm seeking a motion.
I make that
Mr.
motion.
Stanzione makes a motion.
Second.
Second for Mr. Acevedo. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, we stand adjourned at 3:33 p.m. Thank you all.